Hi, Art. Happy birthday. Real sorry I can't be there for your birthday, but here's to you. 99, pretty good. Amazing. So, in all those Rifleman shows I watched, there's one thing that never happened. This is called New Hope. The rope scratched his neck. It pulled him from his deja vu. The crowd was quiet, sullen even. They were waiting for the legendary Swift Randy to be rescued by his gang or get hung. There hadn't been a good hanging in New Hope since the county went dry. Randy thought that it looked a little bit like a bad church picnic. You know, the kind with a preacher who's just a little too righteous, the women are all married, and someone put too much pickle juice in the potato salad. The sheriff was reading the order. He kept fiddling with his glasses, wiping the lenses with the corner of his vest, but what was on them just smeared around. He was barely more than mumbling. You could see him squint in the bright morning, bearing a hurt expression, all the signs of a solid hangover. The sheriff would not look Randy in the eye. Randy was a little disappointed this wasn't a rip-roaring party. A good hanging is like going to your own wake. At least it used to be. He remembered when they hung those rustlers from Montana. Even the sheriff was enjoying himself. It was held at 2 in the afternoon, a little late for a hanging. By the time they got down to business, the town was downright festive. That was the high water mark against which all successive hangings were judged. The hanging spree really got rolling after that. We hung people at the drop of a hat. There was a fight over a hat at the saloon, and the Grayson Smith shot some cowpoke in a simple case of mistaken haberdashery. Hung his ass. We hung the schoolmarm. She was a real pain, always correcting the adults' English. That's not part of her job. But that was the beginning of the end for New Hope's rope. All the hanging started when Randy and the gang came through New Hope heading west. One night at the saloon, some ruffian was belittling a local. Randy said, "You people gotta stand up to bullies. You hang 'em high, and people will stop screwing with you New Hopers." Word spread through town that their paladin had arrived. The townspeople all came to the saloon emboldened. They formed a court and passed judgment on the rude character. The fact that he shot someone trying to escape only made it easier. They hung him. Every hanging in that hanging time had some similarities. Everyone got real drunk before the event. People were relieved that it was not them. And finally, a wave of righteousness came over the whole crowd the moment life was jerked out of the evildoer. 2 months ago, men would be calling, "Ain't so tough now," and the women hollering, "Hang him high, hang that bastard." That was what passed for community spirit in the old New Hope. Randy felt he'd lived a good life. He was proud of what he'd done for this town. He was used to being underappreciated. He knew his gang was probably one county over, just ending last night's bender, walking into the morning sun with one of Rose's fair vixens on their arms. They weren't sure why Randy had sided with the school children and went to the governor with a petition to take the county dry. He was the leader of the gang, so no one challenged him. But they sulked around. They didn't know how to act without acting drunk. So they would sneak off to Shelleyville as often as they could. A good old-fashioned rescue would be nice about now. The guys riding in all rowdy, shooting near anybody who even looked like they might want to interfere with the daring rescue. All those horses galloping in, excited, fresh, ready for a vigorous chase, and one Appaloosa with no rider but a spick-shine saddle. Randy felt remorse. He hadn't told the people who were special to him how he felt. He hadn't told Banger, "Got your back" in weeks. Hadn't complimented Willie on his shitty cooking. Meal planning for this picky gang could not be easy. Lauren always sees the angles, but he's a real team player. And the punks. 3 of the most godless, ornery little sons of bitches that ever lived. They're like sons. Oh yeah, and Sally, where is she? The reason for his predicament. The beginning of a tear started to fill each eye, but he stopped them. I'm not going to give this crowd the satisfaction. Isn't that just how it is? You choreograph a beautiful life, you study hard, apply what you've learned. You bring innovation to your industry, and you're tripped up by a bunch of dirt farmers at the end of a 2-month hangover. Not just a 3-week hangover, but a 2-month hangover. I will meet my fate with style and not lament small-minded people. At the back of the crowd, people were starting to drift away. He was tempted to shout, "Don't leave, show's not over," but thought better of it. That could fire the whole thing up. This hanging might cease due to disinterest, and that would be okay with him. Then everybody heard it. The rumbling hooves, galloping horses, the people who were leaving returned. Somebody shouted, "Hang the bastard!" just for show. The gang came in shooting. Sally led the charge. "Cut 'em loose, boys," she shouted. Randy's not sure he likes the sound of that. What happened to my shy prairie flower? He rubs his wrist. The punks jumped off their horses onto the gallows, forcing the sheriff and deputy to jump. They cut Randy loose. He rubs his wrist, then his neck. That is the last of this hanging people for the slightest infractions. You do this again and I'll give you something worth hanging people for. You're just lucky I have people. How would you have felt if you had really hanged me? Remorseful, I would hope. But now, me and the gang, we got to cover some ground. When we get back, this gallows had better be gone. Randy and his gang were never seen in the county again. The people of New Hope dismantled the gallows and changed the name of the town to Swift Justice. They had found, sometimes, all you need is a reputation. And Art, you got one hell of a reputation. Happy birthday.